Hello, welcome to our special edition. My name is Anastasia Lavrina and today we have a very distinguished guest. Joining me now is Mr. Chris Skidmore, former Minister of State for Energy. Warm welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So let me start with this huge event we have here today, Global Baku Forum. You are attending here, you are meeting with the people, and you can understand that one of the key priorities is the future of international cooperation. Therefore, what do you see as the UK's role in the new geopolitical environment?
Well, obviously the geopolitical environment is shifting rapidly. The UK's witnessed that itself. It left the European Union 5 years ago. And I think there is an opportunity for the United Kingdom to help be a bridge between the interests of the United States and the interests of Europe, our closest neighbours, as well as the wider Commonwealth. It's actually Commonwealth Day today, and the United Kingdom represents, with the Commonwealth, I think about a third of the world's population. So it has a unique opportunity to balance all these different interests. And we've seen that also, I think, with Ukraine recently, that the UK has been able to bring the US and the EU to the table. So I hope that now we can play that sort of role as an arbiter to help bring countries together, but then also project outwards globally opportunities that we all share around democracy, freedom, the rule of law, and also sustainability. I
guess you will understand that balancing is a very complicated process. Therefore, how do you see the future of the United Kingdom to have the balanced policy approach in its relations with the United States of America, with the European Union, with China, let's say, and taking into account the direct talks between the United States and Russia at the moment?
So I think there's on a number of levels. On the one hand, issues around trade. The UK has been establishing new trade relationships, having sort of left the European Union, and we're keen to be able to do so. Then there's issues around standards and how we can ensure that we have similar standards to other countries where possible to promote those standards. That could be around agriculture, that could be around energy and climate, for example. I know that the UK is really keen to play that convening role. We have another big conference coming up in April on energy security, for example. We've held other big convening conferences last year on artificial intelligence, and I hope that we will continue to be able to prioritise that. Obviously, the US has had a new administration, and I think the rest of the world is coming to terms with that at the moment. The UK is yet to sign a trade agreement with the US, and obviously I think there's further discussions. President Trump has been given a second presidential visit to the UK, which is the first time that's ever happened. So I see that as an opportunity to take forward other additional opportunities to balance that relationship with the US as well as with the rest of the world.
You have a great experience from energy sphere, and with Donald Trump's completely new approach to the energy market, global energy market, with its statements on drill baby drills and his, I will say, unique approach to what we see on the global market, where do you see the UK stance in the future?
So I think it's easy sometimes to sort of compare and contrast and sort of say someone might be pro-fossil fuels or someone might be sort of pro-green renewable energy. Where the UK, I think, can balance that discussion is around taking some of the language and ensuring that we all actually agree on certain principles. So on energy abundance, for example, we can have energy abundance by creating more diverse forms of energy, whether that's nuclear, whether that is in wind and solar, whether that's in geothermal. It doesn't just have to be about oil and gas. And making that economic case is, I think, sort of really strong. And the UK is a leading example. You know, when I first became a member of Parliament, coal was responsible for 40% of our emissions. Now coal provides no power at all in the UK. And we've reduced our emissions by 53% since 1990. We're the global leader in this. Yet we've grown our economy in that same time by 80%. So we're able to show you can have economic growth and be sustainable and reduce your emissions at the same time. So I'm very keen that we sort of demonstrate in the UK what can be done, what can be achieved, and that we're able to show that there is economic growth, that there is success, there is jobs, there is opportunity. And we shift the narrative in a way that isn't just necessarily about climate, vital though that is. It is about ensuring that people face the future and feel happy and confident that they're going to have jobs and growth as a part of that.
So you already touched very important issue, green energy transition, and just in November, Azerbaijan hosted COP29. If I'm not mistaken, you were among the participants there, so you could see how it was difficult for the participants to reach the final agreement. So with a new approach in a global world and these new geopolitical shifts, do you think the countries are still committed to sustain the achievements they discussed here in Baku, and what is the role of Azerbaijan as the host of COP29?
So I thought Azerbaijan played an excellent hosting of COP, and the COP president always has a difficult role. We had that ourselves at Glasgow in COP26 when the text got changed at the last moment. Yeah, the challenge with COPs is they're multilateral. Everyone has to agree or you can't get an agreement. And that is always going to be challenges, and there will need to be trade-offs and compromises as a result of that. I think everyone understands that. But some of the successes that came out of COP29 weren't just, I think, on the text of the agreement, important though that was. There was lots of other so-called action agenda items that took place. I've just come from a bilateral meeting here with the Telecommunications Union. I think one of the key successes that Azerbaijan took forward was the Green Digital Action Charter. They were the first COP to have a digital day, and obviously with digital and AI transforming our landscape rapidly, I think what COP29 did was to recognise that actually a lot of these successful moments of actually making a difference don't necessarily come from the negotiations. After all, they're just words on a page. They don't actually mean anything unless you deliver. And you only deliver by working with business, with organisations, with coming up with solutions that can actually be delivered on the ground. And that's something I think Azerbaijan succeeded in achieving.
Well, and one more question about bilateral cooperation between the United Kingdom and Azerbaijan. We do have a great experience, especially in energy fields. And again, with what we have already spoke here today, where do you see the potential for the future, and especially should the UK be more engaged in shaping energy partnership in the region here?
So from the perspective of the UK and Azerbaijan, we've obviously been very close partners in the past, particularly around energy production. I've been keen to look at how we can evolve that for the future. So actually an organisation that I now help work for, Better Earth, that is chaired by the former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, has established a strong relationship with SOCAR, potentially looking at how to sort of decarbonise oil and gas wells for the future, how to decarbonise fuel. So actually Boris Johnson's recorded a message from Better Earth that's going to be played at the conference, and we're keen to maintain that partnership. And I think that the UK sees action on renewable energy, on low carbon solutions as part of its sort of future diplomatic approaches. So at COP29, we also launched the Global Clean Power Alliance, and the UK is going to be sort of leading that, again, to help other countries with their capability and capacity. So again, just one of these other announcements that came out of COP29. It's not always about the main text, it's also about what also happens. And that's going to be taken sort of forwards into COP30 as well. And we have Rachel Kite, the former Vice President of the World Bank, who's now our climate envoy. And so I really do see for the UK an opportunity to play a leading role in demonstrating what is possible and to help other countries also realise that economic opportunity that net zero does provide.
And thank you so much for joining our discussion today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.